You're listening to Radio in the Weeds. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Radio in the Weeds podcast. I am with Scott.
Oh, hello there, hello.
How we feeling, Scott?
Pretty exhilarated. It was a close one. It was a close call that we just had. For all the viewers, we've just got back. Literally just went in the door. Figured out a few things. We've learned a few things. And we're really just aiming to recount our tale of woe to you tonight.
This is amazing adventure. Well, it was slightly horrifying at the same time.
Yes. So our plan didn't go exactly as expected.
Yeah, not exactly. It was.
No, there were a couple of hiccups.
Yeah, a couple of things.
All in all, I'd say we're alive.
Yeah, so if anyone's we're fine. Have you got all your limbs?
I have all 5 of my limbs.
Same. 4.5 of mine.
Oh yeah, well.
But
Can't all be me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I feel like it was successful in a way. If you count knowledge as successful, I think we learned a lot.
Yes, and I think we've somewhat hampered Father Christmas's business and operation, which
definitely,
I think it is an success. You know.
Yeah, so you can spin it. You can spin it that way. Yeah. You know, it depends how you look at it. I looked at it as a glass half full kind of thing.
Good.
So anyway, for our viewers, we should go to the very beginning.
Yes.
Right, where were we after we recorded that episode a week ago?
Yeah, so we set up the plans. We just needed to get all the equipment together. We somehow found the plane.
Yeah, I did that.
You did that, of course, because you've got your contacts, which you.
Well, no, I just found it, just outside.
Oh, I thought
you went.
Oh, just outside.
Yeah, we just went for a bit of a walk because we were in the Alaskan forests.
Yes.
Just went for a walk. That was just a fully functional cargo plane in prime condition, just in the forest.
In prime condition, not like, I would expect like if you found one, it would be like crashed and it would be like half burning.
Yeah. That's what I said, and I was checking it like there must be something wrong, but it was a steel and a half.
Is it like a certain airline or like military or?
No, it was just a non-panel white cargo plane, just default sort of. Oh. There was a couple of red marks on it. I don't know where they came from.
Maybe it was one of our listeners delivered it.
Maybe. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Oh, that'd be a nice Christmas present.
I like to think it was that rather than just some
dead people just left playing there.
Anyway.
But anyway, we got it. It's ours now. We still have it. It's not been blown up by Santa, which is good. No, that's another. Tip that off the list of successful things we've done.
Exactly. It's got some blood streaks inside.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But, they'll wash that out, I think.
And some vomiting as well on the inside as well.
Yeah,
we need to deep clean that. But, yeah, so we've got a new plane out of this. So, if anything, we've made a profit.
Win. So, if you're listening, jot down another win for me and Scott.
Exactly.
It's going well.
Keep a tally of all the times we've got a good thing going. So we got the cargo plane, and our elves made little gadgets for us. They were pretty shit. They didn't really help. Did you use any gadgets?
Well, they gave me like 6 cummy watches.
Yeah,
which I realised.
They gave me about 7.
I realised they were the cum. Before we were confused what it was.
Yeah, well, you ate that.
Yeah, I had to eat it I had it like 6 times before I realised.
Yeah, I knew what it was, but I just thought it was funny to watch you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, that's fine.
I recorded it if you want to see that.
No, I don't. For sorry. Okay.
It's rather funny.
Send it to me, though. I'll have a look at it later.
But you had a Jack in the Box. Did you ever use that Jack in the Box?
Yeah, well, I think so. I don't have it now. Wow. It wasn't that crazy, to be honest. They were all pretty shit. Gadgets.
I didn't see it. I was too busy, doing my stuff. But I didn't get any actual. I literally got 7 watches, and that was it.
Yeah, pretty much. I got the same.
So they really did fuck all to help there.
Yeah, they really didn't want us to go either. They were like,
yeah, they were. I mean, it's understandable.
But we told them what we were doing. They were helping us. We were going to get their brothers and sisters. Or
so nothing that happened is really our fault, to be honest. Because we laid down the law immediately. We were like, this is what's probably going to happen. This is what we're going to do. Now you can make a decision based on that. And they must have just made the wrong decision,
So we got over Santa's airspace.
Yep. No missiles.
No missiles. No nothing. There was no sirens that even went off. Even.
Yep. So now we found the base, didn't we?
Which at the time found it pretty suspicious, to be honest. That he's like basically a god with it's an enormous facility with no defences,
But who would have went to the North Pole to find him?
I think a lot of people. I don't think we're the first people that goes, let's try find Santa's workshop.
Yeah, but we're the first people with hostile intent,
Okay.
So he doesn't need security. I reckon he'll just go out and be like, ho ho, visitors, and then just give him a gift badge, send him on their way.
Well, we found out he did have security, but at the time you were telling me, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, it was fine. It wasn't that much security. It was alright. We got through it.
Yeah, we got through it, but
yeah. Well, anyway, so I did a sick parallel park, tell him about how tall it was. It was right between the lines.
Well, it was a bit over the top, to be honest.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You didn't have to turn the plane around 6 times.
I just wanted to make sure I got it perfect.
Yeah, well, it was kind of wasted time, and also I think it wasted lives, to be honest.
Did we not have a good escape, a smooth escape? Right through the fucking garage.
Yeah, but we wasted 4 or 5 minutes. You just fucking about, and I think it cost some lives.
They didn't know we were there yet. They didn't hear the massive rotor blades of our cargo plane.
Right, okay.
It was fine. So we pulled in, and then lo and behold, we had the door to the sets room.
Yeah, the first place we went to.
And I can't. Did we use the doll, or did you?
Well, I kind of said it, obviously. I can tell you this now because we just got back, but, when I said, can you go ahead and just check the next room, it did, jerk me off.
What, the bear?
Yeah.
Well...
Is that right? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it just did something to me.
I mean, you should have invited me.
Well,
should have added an invite.
I don't know. It just looked at me. It looked at me like it just wanted me.
Yeah.
I think it gave me the eyes that told me, "Can you please get Scott out of the room so it can just be me and you?"
Yeah, maybe I wanted to be wanted.
Well,
how about that?
Anyway, well, you can go back, maybe.
No, it's too late now.
We'll do another mission. We'll do another mission to rescue the sexy bear.
I don't even care. I don't even care.
I'll make you a new one. Still don't even know if he was actually robotic or not. I'm assuming he was.
No, he was. He definitely
didn't feel like it, but.
Well, they've got good engineers up there in the North Pole.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, we snuck through there. The bear was pretty chill about it. And we got to the main room, saw all the elves, exactly where we planned it. Up to this point, the plan was going pretty spectacularly. Everything we were doing was pretty good. And we got all the elves, and we were dressed up in our elf costume as well.
Yes.
And we, so they wanted to go with us. And the only problem was, we got all the elves together, and there were about 300 of them. And we got them behind us, and we were just about to go to the cargo plane and drop them off, when that fucking bastard old man Whipper just showed up out. I don't know how he knew where he was.
Well, I think he's from what I gather, he's almost the manager of the workshop. So when he's not going out and whipping kids,
he was nearby.
He stays on in the workshop just to whip any of the elves that aren't working hard enough.
See, we thought he'd be out.
Well, yeah, but I guess there was
kids.
no naughty kids that night, so he wasn't busy. So I think what he does, he whips the kids out, in their homes. If he hasn't got anything like that to do, walks around the workshop and just whips all the elves that aren't working hard enough.
He loves his whips, doesn't he? He loved.
Yes.
I should say loved his whips.
Well, yeah, he does fucking like. I got a couple of hits. He got me around the. Okay, well, he burst into the workshop.
Yeah.
And he screamed at us. Who the bloody hell's you then? And
Yeah, he was about 5 foot tall as well, so it wasn't really an intimidating sight.
No, but like we stood over the crowd. I think it was obviously all the elves were like, "Oh, they're just other elves, just big manly elves." But he instantly knew we weren't elves.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
And I got a whip round my ankle, and I was getting dragged along the floor like.
Yeah, I was recording.
Yeah, which I think was I was literally like drowning in elves because we had about 300 elves around us at that point. I don't know how he had the accuracy to whip me across a room, not hitting any of the elves, get me around my ankle.
He's a good fucking whip, and that's how he earned his name.
Drag me, and then to slow me, like the only way I could slow myself down was just grabbing any elf that was in my vicinity. And at one point, I had about like 7 of them just bundled in my arms, using them as some sort of anchor, sliding along the floor.
They were sort of tunneling into you as well. They were kind of enjoying it. They didn't really realise the hostility of the situation.
Yeah, for a few seconds until their like skin was scraping along the floor, like me, because I was trying to slow myself down.
Yeah.
So that were the first 6 or 7 casualties.
They didn't get back up, did they? They just sort of...
Because the floor was kind of like a rough concrete.
Yeah.
And their faces were like kind of pressed against they're on the floor, and it was, yeah.
I mean, I've got it all on TikTok. I've posted it all on TikTok.
Yeah, which I think is not the best idea, because it makes me look kind of bad.
Nah, it's fine.
I didn't. My intention was not to. Oh, I'm gonna kill these elves.
Self-preservation, isn't it?
I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't want. We were there to save them.
Well, but no, we established from the get-go to our listeners that we are the ones that should be saved as a priority, and we can have casualties, collateral casualties.
At that point, you're right. Yeah, having like. Out of
300.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
That was fine. That was all right. So anyway, he was whipping, he was dragging you, and he almost got to you. You were sort of like trying to slow down. He was about 5 miles away, so it was a very long whip, and he was sort of just dragging you. That was about 10 minutes, I want to say.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe to me it
felt like 10 minutes. He was very slow at dragging, and also the screams of the elves were just like fucking keeps me up at night. But anyway, before we could get to you, the bear actually came out
because I think he heard my scream and sensed that I was in danger. So it was actually quite good that I did get a hand job from him. Yeah,
well, you don't have to keep mentioning it.
Sorry, I didn't. It.
Just move on.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, so he came out, and then he came to rescue me, didn't he? Because I don't know what. Okay, why didn't you come help me?
I was being the journalist, wasn't I? You don't record these events, otherwise people don't know they happened.
Yeah, but you keep on saying like, "Oh, the top priority is me and you to be alive." I was impending doom. I was going to die any minute.
Yeah, but if you think about it this way, there's 2 of us, right?
Okay.
And the priority is to keep these 2 people alive. If you're in impending doom, and I then put myself into that impending doom, we've now got 2 people in the impending doom. And that's worse than just having 1 person in the impending doom. So it's actually better if you just use the elves as a way to get out, because they don't matter.
Okay.
Whereas if I put my life at risk, that complicates things.
Or I died, and then you would have been on your own, and then the likelihood of you dying would have gone up dramatically.
But that didn't happen. That was a risk I was willing to take.
Fine.
It didn't happen.
Okay, then so the bear just came along, and I think he just he severed the whip that was holding me. I got to my feet, and then I ran back over to you. And then
you jumped over all the dead elves.
Yeah, I think I can't remember what happened next because I was a bit like the bear was just
Traumatized.
hugging me, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really know what happened. And then I was like 5 minutes later. I looked up and Mr. Whipper was gone.
Oh yeah. So basically,
so what happened?
So he was basically above you. You didn't see. He basically, the bear, whilst hugging you, flipped the old man Whipper the finger, and then just basically got him in his maw. He got him in his jaw, and he just ripped, and he flung old man Whipper up. And it was I got it all on video. It was incredibly gruesome. I've actually been banned off TikTok for posting it because it was literally a man getting torn apart.
Is that where all the blood? We're both covered in blood then.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the elves' blood.
No. That was it might have been.
A bit of both.
Yeah. But old man Whipper was literally torn apart, and he was eviscerated to the point where you didn't even know he was there anymore.
Yeah.
But then the bear kissed you, on the cheek, which is fine. I wasn't jealous.
Yeah. Well, I don't really remember, to be honest. It's
then
interesting that you remembered.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't.
Okay, we'll move past it.
It doesn't matter to me.
Anyway.
But then the alarms went off. Old man Whipper must have had some. Maybe they heard the commotion or something, because then all the doors locked. So the door that the bear had just come out of was then locked. So we couldn't go back the way we came, and we had 295 elves left.
Yeah.
About that, and we were like, shit. Well, that.
Then all the little fuckers started panicking. The elves.
Oh yeah, they literally.
Which was really annoying.
Yeah, I think actually, because they started grabbing onto me and sort of shaking me and being like, "What are we gonna do? They're coming. They're gonna kill us." So I punted a few of them, and I don't.
They died. No, they died.
Yeah,
they died straight away. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, because I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
weren't
really pay attention,
No.
but I didn't see them get back up again.
No, I think well, one of them you just punched and died straight away. The other one that you kicked flew across the room and then landed in one of the toy making machines, and then he got mangled up. Yeah, it was.
Jesus!
It wasn't great. But for some reason, all the elves were still fine with us looking after them. They still followed us, which is strange.
Well, they stopped grabbing onto me after that.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they stopped. Yeah,
very quickly. They very quickly learned not to touch me. So that was about
you just kicking one.
That was about two of them, John. So we were on 293. But then we decided to just fuck it. We went into a random door. Because we still knew we wanted to get to Mrs. Claus's penthouse, deliver her the letter, and also free the reindeer.
What did the letter say again?
It was the Asked Angela letter, the domestic abuse. It was the phone number for domestic abuse. So we wanted to make our way there, but we hadn't brought the blueprint with us because, we're idiots.
No. Well, I think that was your eye. That was your. Or you were supposed to be doing that, wasn't it?
I got excited by the cargo plane, so sort of other things slipped my mind.
Okay, well, I just want to put on record that was your fault.
Right. Well, I think I got us out of it pretty well.
You did, to be fair. You did.
The one thing that I knew was the three things I remembered from the blueprint. I didn't really remember the routes, but I remembered in the north of the building there was Santa's penthouse. To the west of the building there was the reindeer. I knew what both of those things were, and I also remembered the hobby hole because I thought that was fucking weird. So that stuck in my brain.
Yeah, you seemed pretty obsessed with that for some reason. I was like, I can't.
Oh, it's just It was a weird thing to put in there, man. Like, what is it? Why does it have a little sad face? None of the elves would tell us. But anyway, we went to the north of the building because I thought that's the safest option. Stick to the plan, get the letter to Mrs. Claus. So we're trying to and the corridors in the. It's a massive establishment, but the corridors are fucking tiny for some reason. So we were trying to shepherd all 293 of these elves.
Yeah, it took fucking ages.
Through these corridors, and they're needy as well. They keep wanting to know where we are, so we can't.
You were at the front and I was at the back.
Yeah.
I was kicking them through. Just.
Yeah. I think a couple of them died as well.
Yeah, well, it was because it's such a tight corridor and we were pressing
They're
them in.
stampeded.
I think it was probably, honestly, about 20 of them.
Well, also, the ones you kicked didn't get up. I think at that point we learned not to kick them. Because our kicks are so powerful, they sort of just instantly stopped their hearts. And also, so you kicked them further into the crowd, which then, basically, they landed on another elf, which then forced him to fall to his knees, and then he got crushed by the stampede of elves. So for everyone you kicked, two or three died.
Yeah. So what was the death count at the minute?
Yeah, there was about 20. It's 273 we're on now.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's still fine because our thing was if we lose 100, and at that point,
yeah, that's what we said originally, wasn't it? We were like, if we lose 100, we're still still saving 200.
Even
elves.
100, even 150. That's half dead. That's all right. So at this point, we were still pretty good. We were still pretty happy with ourselves. But we had learned not to really try and help the elves along because it was killing more of them than it was saving. And it saved none of them. It killed every single one.
Yeah, but we were both also conscious that the fact that we needed to, get ourselves out there as well.
Yeah. So we needed to get faster. If we had to run and leave a couple of them behind, so be it.
So we were on our way to the hobby hole.
No. First we went to Santa's penthouse, if you remember.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because we had to cram all the elves into that stupid fucking lift. We had to do about 10 trips up and down just to get the elves there. And the elves wouldn't go in the lift if one of us wasn't in the lift. So we had to constantly keep going up and then down and then up and down, taking it in turns. But then finally we all got out and we were all sort of like in the penthouse bits. There was lots of different rooms.
It was like a lobby
of
a. It was because it was like a big house. It was like a lobby.
Yeah,
it had some stairs going upstairs and different rooms, but it was all like pink and red and fluffy everywhere. It was a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and there were loads of weird, like, I think they were sets. There was like definitely a set swing in the lobby.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
there was some sort of candy cane whips and stuff like that. I think I saw a gimp suit on one of the walls.
Yeah.
But the first thing we noticed when we walked in, so there was no receptionist. There was a big desk, but there was no receptionist. But we did hear just like sounds of clapping from upstairs.
Like almost like wet clapping. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was really weird.
Yes, so did I.
Because I was like, well, an alarm's going off. So who the fuck is clapping? Like, what's that? And we all walked upstairs, including all the elves. And the elves were getting a bit fidgety at this point. I think they were a bit nervous that we were so close to Santa because he probably abuses them.
And none of them had. I don't think any of them had been in there up to that point.
It was exclusive,
it was a completely new experience for them. So
yeah, so we walked up, and well, I was just going to put the envelope through under the door. But Matt insisted that we see what the clapping was.
Well, yeah, there was like really weird, loud clapping.
Yeah.
So I opened the door, and then I saw it was a dark room, and I saw like
lit by candles, so you could vaguely see. What was going
it was
on.
like I could see like silhouettes and like a little bit, and then there was also fog as well, which was weird. And I could hear a fog machine going. That was like that was the first thing I remember. Like things, why is a fog machine in here? And then it quickly dawned on me, Santa's in there, and he must be having sex with Mrs. Claus. That's what I initially thought.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then you said don't go in.
Yeah, because I was like, we should fucking just leave.
Yeah, but I don't know, I just got, like, something came over me and I had to go in there. I completely forgot about the mission, forgot about all the elves that we were trying to save. Went in, and the closer I got, I realised it wasn't Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, I think that was the most disturbing part of the journey.
But then I just saw, all I saw was like a pair of antlers, like rocking back and forth. And then Santa turned around and saw us, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
And
And,
his face was pretty good. The face he made.
yeah, he was. I think we got him mid-climax, to be honest.
Yeah, and then it was like the joyous happiness you could ever see turning into like, you know, he was,
disbelief and anger.
yeah, he was he was fuming.
And then we can one proof is that we can hear the reindeer speak because Santa spoke to the reindeer, and he was like, "Wait here, Vixen."
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
yeah, well, I think he said, "Wait here, Vixen," or whatever the fuck your name is. I think he said.
oh right,
Yeah, which I caught.
and then and then the reindeer just sort of looked at him, and then he went, "Because I said so," and I was like, that reindeer didn't say anything. That was
Yeah.
so. I feel like
it was almost like trying. We still don't know if he's got some sort of magical power that he can talk to the reindeer, or he's just crazy and he just thinks he can.
But one thing's for sure, we definitely did not hear the reindeer speak.
No, which was a shame because I would like to know what they were thinking. The reindeer.
Yeah, I want to know if it's consensual as well. Anyway, Santa turned to us and he sort of just, he was angry. He was angry at you especially.
Yeah, and his cock was looking at me and looked angry.
Yeah,
as well.
it was.
Because you were kind of hiding
like
behind me, so
well, I
you
didn't
just
want to
saw
see
me,
Santa.
me. It
I also
kind of
didn't want to
reminded
ruin my
me of the
childhood.
bear. True. I think we've gone past that point, Scott, of ruining our childhood.
Well, it's the fact. Well, no, but there's a difference between realizing that Santa's a sadistic little fuck and seeing his big fucking knob swinging in the breeze. You know? So
Yeah.
I was trying not to look. The elves, I didn't like. They were traumatized. But the problem was the elves were blocking the door. They wanted to see what was happening. So we then were like, shit, Santa's here and Mrs. Claus is not. So we just sort of like, well, I just flung the letter onto the desk, being like, I was like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Mrs.
we
Claus
ran
can
away,
read
didn't
that,
we?
whatever. So, we turned around and we sort of just trampled over the elves to get out of there.
Yeah, no, because we said to the, because we were in the lobby, all the elves were in the lobby, and then we said, well, we're just going to go upstairs for a minute, wait here. And then but when we left, the bedroom, they were
so
all
needy.
just outside behind us.
They won't go anywhere without following us because we're like their messiah.
Yeah,
but
so
obviously,
we had to just run for our lives.
So I had to feel them like crushed beneath my feet. Like,
Yeah, and then I think
I could feel the bones snap.
exactly, and then also with Santa behind us, who's like weighs 3 times as much as we did.
It didn't help that he, like an angry hippopotamus, bellowed, charged to the door with his tot just swinging. I think his tot slapped an elf off the balcony railing.
I think his cock knocked a few out and killed a couple.
Knocked a few out and also knocked them over the edge because we had to run back. I think we did the stairs because the lift wouldn't work.
And then also I keep picking them up and throwing them at us to stop, to try to hit us.
Yeah, he did, and he kept missing as well. They'd always fly over the side of the staircase.
Yeah, because you just hear it. And it was.
It's like, you just sort of like, and it was a long staircase as well. Like, it was several like 50 floors maybe. I don't know
About that. I felt like it anyway. So,
but
like pretty much the whole staircase, like there was still like fucking 250 elves at this point.
Yeah, and all of them were on staircase. So we were pushing past them all. Santa was almost rolling like the Indiana Jones boulder. Like he was absolutely furious. Just bounding down the staircase, slapping elves left and right with his testicles. And it got to the point where he was so close to catching us, we were like, fuck it, we've just got to like jump.
Yeah.
So there was a window on the left hand side. We didn't want to jump further into the facility. So we basically I grabbed an elf and threw it at the window. Because I thought, what's closest to me? I have nothing to throw at the window. I don't want to get cut by shards of glass.
Yeah, I don't want to be cut again.
Yeah, exactly. So I just grabbed an elf and lobbed him at the window. And then he fell to his death.
Yeah, he either died going through the window or
he fell to his death.
Either way, same result, isn't it?
But we jumped out. And there was a nice sort of snowbank for us to slide into. I don't know how the elf didn't hit that, but the elf managed to hit just a massive fucking rock on the way down as well. So he was definitely dead. I could see all of what was going on inside his face.
Even though we didn't, I think you just jumped out the window and you landed in the snowbank and you were fine. I grabbed an elf.
Oh,
and I put it, as I was falling, manoeuvred it underneath me to break my fall.
A soft landing.
Obviously, evidently I didn't need to, but that elf just literally almost got split in half with my knee on its, spine.
Yeah. But, it's an unfortunate accident.
It was happening so quickly. You can't really blame.
No,
can't really blame you for using the elf to break the window, and you can't really. blame me either. It's just
when there's a throwable person next to you, in a life and death situation. I think the listeners don't understand this. In a life and death situation, when you've got that adrenaline pumping through you, you're gonna throw that fucking elf.
Yeah, and they're such a throwable size. They're
they are such a throwable. They're like a little mini bowling ball, But anyway. So Santa didn't want to come. He stopped at the window because he was naked and it was cold.
Yeah,
so...
I think he was worried that he was going to get his cock frost bitten off.
Exactly. So that sort of stopped him, and he was just sort of shaking his fist, cursing after us. All the elves spilled out from under his legs. I did see one that was sort of they tried to go under his legs. It was trapped by his testicle. He couldn't get past.
Blinded by the
he was
skin.
blinded. I think he was suffocated in it as well.
Jesus Christ.
I
did not see that, but yeah.
No, I saw that. Yeah, he died. He couldn't get past.
Oh my God. Poor lad.
So I think all in all, that was about 50 elves that
in the Santa fiasco.
Died. Yeah. It might be more like 60 actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah,
so that's about 213.
And
which was bad.
We were making the direction we were walking. We thought was the only place we knew that was in the vicinity. We thought was the hobby hole, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So basically, then I remembered that I recalled that we were on the sort of northeast side of the campus.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, the hobby hole's near us. Because we couldn't get back into the facility then because we were on the outside.
The campus.
The campus.
I don't know why you called it a campus.
I don't know, the facility. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. But yeah, so 60 died. And also, I think we lost about 40. Because they just didn't come back. Because by the time we found the hobby hole with all the elves, either they got stuck in the snow because the snow was 6 foot deep,
and it was like a mile trek.
Yeah, and the elves are 3 foot, so they easily could have been lost, and we didn't care about finding them. So, by the time we got to the hobby hole, we had about 180 maybe. I'd say,
which is still over
above
half.
50%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was still fine.
So the hobby hole was literally just a hole, it wasn't even that big. It was about 2 meters in diameter.
Yeah, it was like a big manhole.
It looked like a massive rabbit hole.
Yeah.
That was just sort of in the ground. And it made sort of like a slide down into a tunnel. So we were like, well, fuck it. We want to get out of the cold.
You were about to just jump down. And I was like, hang on a minute. And I was like, we need to be smart about this.
Oh,
and
no, that was actually good.
And I chucked it down. And
yeah,
we listened. Of course. And we heard a...
Yeah.
And then we could hear it. So he seemed alive.
Yeah. And we called down to him, you alright? And he just went, yeah.
Yeah.
So then we slid down, and actually, I landed on him. So
I know.
he then died.
He died.
but before that, he was perfectly fine.
Yeah. Wasn't he like chanting like I'm helping, and then he died.
He was chanting what? Sorry.
Like, I'm helping because we chose him
Oh
to
yeah,
go
he
down the
was
slide
very
first to like help
yeah,
us.
he thought he was like the chosen one or something. He was so happy to help us.
Yeah. And then he just died.
Yeah, I squished him into little jelly. But we got down there, and we finally got all the elves down, and none of them died on the way down, which was good. So we had about 179. And we were in this sort of weird cave. It looked like a it had weird paintings on the wall, like sort of ritualistic paintings, like caveman paintings. And it was lit by sort of these torches on the wall.
It instantly made me feel uncomfortable. Like the rest of the facility seemed like kind of clean,
modern,
together, modern, like a proper.
This was like old-timey. I mean, I thought it was just a sets dungeon. I thought it was another sets dungeon that was just themed. Because he has a lot of them, and I wouldn't put it past him to have a little, like, cave dungeon. I mean, it's called the Hobby Hole.
True.
So whatever hobbies he was doing down here, I presumed that the hobby was sets, because it always is with Santa.
But then there was a sad face drawn next to it. So I was not happy that we were there, to be honest.
No, yeah, and all the elves were really scared about delving deeper.
Yeah, they seemed even like more scared than they were like with Santa coming. Yeah, which was also put me at ease. Like
but we walked down. It just went down and down, like, and it was kind of treacherous terrain as well. We were sort of like holding onto the walls, and the holes kept getting smaller and smaller. I thought we weren't going to fit because I was like, oh, maybe this is made for elves. But then Santa must have come down there, so, it can't have been too bad. But, yeah, we finally got down there, and we got to this sort of, this room with a bunch of... It looked like a cage, but it was made out of wood. And it took up a large majority of the room, but we didn't really see anything inside.
Yeah, and then also you couldn't really see, like, the ceiling either. It was, like, so pitch black that you didn't know how high it went up.
Exactly. So I was like, is anyone in there? And there was sort of like no response. So then I picked up an elf and I threw him between the bars because the bars were quite big.
Yeah.
And the elf sort of... I didn't really see what happened, but it sounded like he instantaneously died.
Yeah, it sounded like a splat and a thud.
Yeah.
And a bit of a yelp as well.
Yeah. It was sort of like... It was like, oh!
Yeah.
And then it was dead. Like, his scream just got cut really short.
It was yeah. And then so all of the elves started, like, just backing away.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's a bit of a pussy thing to do. And then a voice came out of the cage, finally, going like, "You've brought me dinner." And we were like, what the fuck is that?
Shit. And then it went, more. Which, I instantly replied with, just fucking chucked another elf in. Because I didn't want to be the more.
Yeah, so we were like, okay. And I think we threw about 5 more in.
Yeah. While we were discussing what to do.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, well, I was like searching around the cave for exits, but while I was doing that, Matt was just what in, just constantly like a fucking roundabout.
Yeah.
Just throwing elves in there, and whatever was in the cave was having quite a fun time. And then it got to a point where the elves sort of stopped wanting to be near us for some reason.
Yeah.
They were backing away.
Right.
Especially you, yeah. And then the thing in the cage was just like, thank you. I am satisfied. And we were like, me and Matt looked at each other through the darkness and we were like, what does that mean? Does that mean he's going to leave us alone?
Yeah, leave us. We can just leave now. And then I asked, sorry, mate, Is there a way out of here? Just sorry, we just got lost and just wondering which way the way out was. And then he just didn't say anything, which was off-putting.
Yeah, well, he started making these sort of moaning, like these grunts of effort.
Yeah.
And we did hear sort of like the wood crack.
Yeah.
So me and Matt were basically like, I don't know what's happening, but I don't think it's good. So the go-to thing for us to do was, obviously we're in a bad situation, so we grabbed a handful of elves each, and we sort of strapped them to our body as sort of a protection shield.
Yeah.
While whatever the thing was doing his thing.
Then one of the elves that I had like one of them. I had like two either side of my shoulders. And
Yeah,
I think
like shoulder pads.
Like, even though I like, it's kind of hard to remember. I think one of them whispered in my ear, "It's Krampus."
Yeah.
And then I told you.
Which would have been fucking helpful a while ago.
Yeah, when we were
going
down the hobby hole, the whole time they could have said, "Excuse me, lads, maybe not go down there."
Maybe don't go to the demon. And feed him as well. When they were fine with letting us just fucking feed their friends to it and not mention like, actually, this makes him stronger.
Yes, yeah, and so I shouted to you, "Scott, it's Krampus," and then this Krampus just started laughing.
Yeah, and then I was like, don't think that's very funny. And then he sort of just, well, he snapped out of his cage and the whole thing exploded, and I was like, holy shit! It was like a firework just went off, and all the I got fucking loads of splinters.
Yeah, most of them went in the elves though.
I mean, one of my elves got a plank of wood straight to the face, died instantly. But I've got like all across my hands, loads of splinters.
Then Krampus started running around the walls like
the insidious person.
Yeah. And then as he was going around the room, grabbing at elves and then throwing them at us.
Yeah, and eating them as well.
Like eating one, throwing one, eating one, throwing one.
Yeah, and that's when. So he just sort of ran around the walls when he belched fire. I didn't realise he could do this.
No, but which would have been nice if like one of the elves back at home base told us about
Krampus's superpower. Because you don't really hear about Krampus's superpowers, do you?
No, we just hear that he turns up and then he goes like.
So he belched fire, but the thing was the fire. It roasted a few, like I think 2 or 3 elves got set on fire. But the thing was,
it smelled amazing though.
Oh no, it did smell really good. It was like a good old barbecue.
Yeah.
But that lit up the exit, which was this. It was basically this large ornate wooden door, but it was locked, so we didn't really know how to open it. So basically, I got a bunch of elves, and I just started throwing them at the door. I just started pelting them at the door.
I was throwing elves at Krampus as he was running around the room. It seemed like he could have attacked us and jumped on us and killed us instantly, but he seemed to be like enjoying himself. The entertainment of him throwing elves at me and me throwing elves at him. I
mean, I was scared we were going to run out of elves, to be honest, because we were dwindling. By the time we got out, we were like 90 elves left. That it took about half our elves. And by that point we were like, shit. Okay, now we're below half. This is getting dire now. The plan is we were sort of acknowledging at that point that the plan was going to shit a little bit. But basically, eventually, the amount of elves, I think I threw about 30 at the door. And finally, the door sort of started to snap and budge. And then Krampus decided, now that I'd weakened the door, he was just going to fly through it. So he just sort of barreled through it, smashed the whole thing, left us, and I was sort of like, well, thanks, you let us out. That was pretty cool.
I wonder if that room had some sort of spell on it, because he seems like all the other guys seem to be like working with and for Santa.
He was caged.
He seems like a weapon that Santa used, but he didn't actually have full control over it.
Yeah.
So I
yeah,
think
you
we
might-
just...
we let Krampus out.
Yeah, so he can just do what he does for Santa, but just for whatever he wants to do whenever now. Which is a shame, but we were fine.
That's probably fine. He probably won't do too much damage.
Hopefully.
He's just a demon.
Yeah, there's demons everywhere.
There's probably loads of demons everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably demons galore all over the place. That's fine. That's fine. Anyway, we got out with about 80, 90 elves. And these elves were now... They were starting to distrust us a little bit.
But they also thought, what else am I
Yeah,
going to do?
I mean, we can't go back to Santa now. He's going to punish us worse than these people are. So they were sort of playing the odds, thinking, okay, maybe if they don't offer us up as bait, we'll survive. So they continued going with us. And the door opened up to this larger tunnel, and we sort of followed Krampus's footsteps out, and it got to the point where we exited, and we got to this door. It was modern, which was weird because we were like, we're in a cave system, not used to having a modern door. And we opened the door out. I mean, Matt just walked out. I was gonna be like, okay, maybe we'd be a bit careful.
Well, I was terrified. The creepy caves were so scary. I just wanted to leave.
But so Matt walked out, and he literally walked straight into the middle of one of Farmhand Rupert's experiments. Like his little operation. He was literally operating on a child as we entered the room.
He had like half of his arm in the
It was
stomach
horrible.
of a child.
It was so horrible. Yeah. And he just looked at us, and we were sort of like, with all the others behind us, and we just sort of stared at each other for like 5 seconds, like, okay.
Shit.
And then he just grabbed a scalpel, and he was like a 5-foot little midget as well.
Well, he did. He grabbed the scalpel and he instantly just killed the elf, or the boy he was working on.
Which was
crazy.
Completely unnecessary.
He just
I don't know why he did
went,
that.
and just fucking slit it the throat.
Yeah, and blood just spurted. And we were like, dude, what? Why? Like, he wasn't gonna do anything.
Yeah, we would have left that. Like.
His stomach is cut open. There was no way he's leaving this facility. But he was just instantly killed him, and then jumped on his body as well in sort of like a martial arts pose. So we just, well, I feel like at this point in the story you can understand what was going through our head. We were faced with danger. So me and Matt, no hesitation, just turned around, picked up the nearest elf.
Yeah.
Threw it at him. Threw it at Fireman Rupert.
But it was like, I think it was hard because he's like a small little like gnome man.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy to get on target this time.
Yeah, we had to throw quite a lot.
And I think that the elves started to know what our game plan was
Well,
for a lot of these situations.
A couple of them started like trying to go back down the corridor. We had to chase them.
Yeah, and they started and they weren't really like the other, because like at the start of this when we were picking them up and throwing them, they were kind of just like, oh, what's happening? And so they were easy to throw, but they kept fucking like wriggling in my arms, and they're just throwing off my aim, which wasn't really helpful.
Yeah, it's annoying. It was really annoying. But yeah, Rupert cut into like quite a lot of them.
Yeah, like every single one that landed like in reach of him, he just stabbed.
He loved stabbing them. I mean, it was good because he couldn't stab us because we were just constantly throwing. It was like he was getting overwhelmed with how many elves we were throwing at him. But he was a nifty little bugger, and he kept just slicing and dicing them. We knocked him off his little table, and then while he was on the floor, sort of riddling about, we tried to sort of like throw so many elves at him that it was like
doggy pile.
Yeah, like a big pile up, and he couldn't escape. I mean, my thought was, let's suffocate him in elves. So we threw about 30 on him.
The thing that freaked me out the whole time about him, he just didn't have any emotion in his face. He didn't angry,
say anything.
He didn't say a word. He just looked at us and just started like fucking stabbing elves. Like it was throwing knives at us. It was really creepy.
Yeah.
I would have felt better if he was angry about it.
But eventually, we managed to sort of, well, I think he was knocked unconscious. Maybe he suffocated. I don't know. He was buried under about 40 elves, all of which were. I think they died. I think they were all dead.
Mm. Well, yeah.
There was a lot of blood. I can't tell who was alive, who was not.
I honestly think even if some of the elves were like injured and we left them there, they're dead now.
They're dead now. They're definitely dead now. Yeah. There's no way Rupert kept them alive. So we left with 40 elves, left that room, and well, we still had the objective of save the reindeers. We want to save the reindeers.
Yeah.
And
it was more about our curiosity of seeing what the fuck was wrong with these reindeers.
Yeah, as well, because they had a lot of mutations. So we went to the paddock, and we had that plan of, chloroform them in the cage, and then let them out. Matt forgot to bring the chloroform with us. It was still on the cargo plane.
Yeah, I left it on the... Yeah.
So we couldn't do that, but we thought, okay, let's just put the elves in front of us, open the door, and see, because they might be friendly. The reindeers might be friendly.
Yeah, because they might be like you being used as like slaves, just as the elves are. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What we
thought could be the case.
So we opened the door, and the doors opened. The reindeers came out. They didn't stampede. They were pretty calm. They were glowing in different ways. A lot of them had boils on and different. I didn't really want to touch any of them. It was like
one had like a bright purple like tail.
They looked contagious. And they smelt as well. Yeah. They smelt like worse than a normal reindeer. They smelt like decaying flesh.
Yeah.
So I was sort of like, I don't want to. But the worst thing about all of them was each and every one of them had massive rock hard erections, like
yes,
super,
really obvious big. As well. He was like straight away, we're just like, oh,
yeah, and they were looking at us like they wanted a piece of us.
Yeah.
So we were like, shit, and then we were like, maybe that's why Santa fucked them all the time, because they seemed really horny. So they sort of started coming towards us, and me and Matt were like, well, we'd fuck a bear, but we won't fuck a reindeer.
Yeah, because it was like a humanoid animatronic bear.
It was an animatronic bear. It wasn't an actual bear.
And also, I did not fuck the bear.
No, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, just to get that straight. Anyway.
Wish I had...
It's fine. Next time, I'll make it up to you. I promise.
Yeah.
There'll be other bears. There'll be other bears in the future.
Animatronic bears, not
real
bears. Don't want a real bear.
We'll go to build a bear workshop tomorrow.
Go to Chuck E. Cheese and starve some children.
Yeah, for Christmas. That's my present to you. I'll take you to
Imagine going to Chuck E. Cheese and being like, so how do I fart to the animatronic?
So what
where's the room for that?
I want to come down. How much is it to come down when the store's shut? No one's in here. And it's just me and the bears.
Just go wild, just go wild.
Yeah, turn all the security cameras off. I don't want any of you seeing what I'm doing.
But anyway, when we realised the reindeer's sort of provocation, I sort of, when I saw them, I went back on saving them. I was a bit like, they're making me uncomfortable now. And also, their diseases seem to be very contagious. So I was sort of... I realised maybe we shouldn't save them.
No.
But they'd already seen us. So, in order to keep them distracted, how many elves do you think we threw in there, Matt?
I think like 15.
15?
Yeah.
So we threw about 15 elves into the paddock. And then just closed the door.
Yeah.
Just closed the door and
and
ran
it
away.
Was some... Yeah, we heard some... noises.
Yes, noises.
Yeah, because I don't think, from what I gather, the reindeer aren't really exposed to the elves that often.
No, so... I don't think they are. I don't think they really see them.
No,
the elves are behind the scene, so I think they were very excited at this new sort of species that they.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't want to dwell on that, do we?
No.
Really.
So we
because
we assume we don't know what happened to those elves. Let's
no,
just say that they might be. Yeah,
they might be alive, but is it
I hope
worse
they're
than
not
death?
alive. Yeah, I hope they're
I
dead.
kind of hope they are dead.
They're the only elves in this whole thing that I wish I'm glad or hope they're dead.
So then after that, we killed a majority of Santa's peeps. We released Krampus, we killed Old Man Whipper, and we killed Rupert, and Santa was left just butt naked. So we had quite a uneventful trip back to the Tardar plane. We had 25 elves, which was, you know what? It's 25 lives we've saved. That was pretty good.
It's more than nothing.
So, which was what we were thinking when we arrived at the Tardar plane. And then we got into the Tardar plane and we had the plan to chloroform them when we flew off, so they wouldn't interrupt us. Now,
yeah. Well, right. Okay.
What would you like to say here, Matt? What would you like to say? Because we had 25 elves that were fit and they were healthy, and we would have got them home very safely.
Yeah. Well,
and that's...
so you would, okay, right. So you said to me last week, look, I'm gonna do the plane, and all I want you to do, Matt, is to do the chloroform.
All I want, one thing. That was all I asked for, was one thing.
And I'm not the best at English. I'm not very good reader. I'm not very good at spelling. So when I purchased it from Amazon.co.uk, I accidentally got chlorine.
And you made this mistake on the podcast last week, and I corrected you.
You did.
I said, do not get chlorine, get chloroform.
But I also thought, I thought they would pretty much do the same thing.
No, I explained what would happen if you bought chlorine.
Yeah.
And you still just did it.
Yeah. Well, because it was okay. So what happened was I plugged it into. So I had to plug the chlorine I now know into the system, and then I had to, while we were in the cabin, the cockpit.
Yeah.
We had I pressed a button and then it released the gas into the cargo hold where all the elves were.
Yes.
And we took off and it was fine. It took us about 4 hours to get back.
Yeah, the plane ride was fine. The plane ride was good for us.
We mostly
not
just
for the fucking 25 hours that were choking on their own vomit in the back.
Yeah, and it was only afterwards you opened up the cargo.
Oh,
I went to go get the elves.
The smell was so good.
I went to get the other elves that were here because I thought, they're going to want to see them.
Oh yeah.
And I went into the safe house that we're currently in, and all of the 8 elves that we had were just fucking massacred on the floor.
Just dead. Just all of them dead. Blood everywhere. We had to fucking get a deep cleaner in. It smelled awful.
Yeah.
Don't know how they died.
And then while I was doing that, you went to the plane to let the other elves out.
Yeah, opened it, and then obviously Matt's mistake. Just saw yellow noxious gas fly out, and all of the 25 elves we had saved were just on the floor, covered in blood and vomit, just dead.
All dead. So remind me, how many elves did we save?
So we had about 10 in our safe house, and we set out to save 300. And at the end of our mission, every single elf died.
Yeah, they're all
apart
dead.
From the ones that potentially are still being fucked by reindeer.
Yes, yeah.
But hopefully they're dead too. So that's a 310 down to 0.
Yeah. But
But we survived, and we got a plane.
Got a plane. And Santa's operation is no longer operational.
Well, unless he just goes out and kidnaps a lot more children this Christmas.
I think it will take him a while because he needs to get
but Old Man Whipper's dead. We killed some of the bad guys.
Yeah.
We did free Krampus, who's now terrorizing all of the major cities in the world. But
so either he's going to have to go out and get new bad guys that's going to collect children for him, or he's going to have to do it himself. And do you think he's going to do that?
Nah, he's lazy.
Yeah, he just fucks reindeer all day.
So no one's getting presents.
No.
And everyone's being terrorized by a demon now. But
we're alive.
But we're alive. We got a plane, and no children are in forced labor in the North Pole because they're all dead.
Yeah.
So in a way,
That's a win. That's a win.
that's a win. A win is a win.
A
mate.
win is a win.
That is a win.
Yeah.
Well done,
Woo!
everyone. Well done.
Yeah.
That was a very successful mission. I think we rolled with the punches quite well.
Yeah.
I think
if I had to do it again, there would have been a few things would have changed. But all in all,
but we learnt a lot
Yeah,
during it, and
of
now we
course.
know: do not punt elves, and maybe have a bit more of a plan when you're heading into a secure facility with a demon in the basement.
yeah, I think what do you know what I would do differently?
What?
I think we should have got some weapons.
Weapons.
Yeah, I think that would have been smart rather than just throwing elves every.
Elves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been. If we just bought like one gun, we could have easily killed like
Yeah, or even if we had like an elf-sized stick.
and just smacked Santa. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The more you know.
Next time.
So if anyone else has done there are no elves to save. But if this
No.
comes around again and Santa's up to his dastardly deeds again, and one of you guys tries to save him, just remember, learn from our mistakes, guys. Okay? Bring weapons, make a lot of different plans, and don't go down the hobby hole.
Yeah.
And also, can someone stop Krampus from? Can someone catch him again?
Yeah, can someone? I think
Please?
someone else can do that.
Because yeah, we can't really do.
I think I'll
that.
call the Ghostbusters.
We're not qualified. It's not a ghost.
No, I know,
we
but
could try it.
I'll call them and they maybe can let me know who
Demon
else to get.
Busters?
Yeah,
Yeah. Get a reference from them. Yeah,
exactly.
that sounds good. And we'll call them. We'll deal with that. That's fine.
Perfect.
But all in all, in conclusion, Christmas is saved.
Yeah, we saved Christmas, and more importantly, we saved ourselves.
Yes, and the cargo plane, which is cool,
Yeah, that is cool.
and I'm happy about that.
Anyway, well, I thank you everyone for listening to our great adventure. I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
And we hope you have fun, even though you haven't got any toys this year.
Yeah. Why don't you just buy some your fucking self, right?
Yeah, stop exploiting child labour, you fucking assholes. Just buy some shit and then spend time with your family, because that's what Christmas is about.
Exactly.
And that's what you should be doing today, because today is Christmas, and you should be having fun. So go have fun with your family and stop listening to us talk about killing Santa's elves.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, you twats.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and we're looking forward to a happy new year.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Radio in the Weeds. Make sure to tune in next week for jokes, gags, and general tomfoolery. Bye-bye!